morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
സാറേ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
താങ്ക് യു ടീച്ചറെ. നല്ലൊരു ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് ആണ്. കാരണം ഈ പിള്ളേരൊന്നും നമ്മളോട് ഒരു നല്ല വിഷിംഗ് ഒന്നും തരുന്നില്ല. ഒന്ന് എനർജറ്റിക് ആക്കേണ്ട ഇവരല്ലേ ശരിക്കും രാവിലെ നമ്മളെ.
അവര് പകുതി ഉറക്കത്തിലായിരിക്കും സാറേ, അതാ.
വീഡിയോ ഓൺ ആക്കാൻ വയ്യ, മിണ്ടാൻ വയ്യ.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. All of you, if possible, please switch on your videos and give me an energetic wish. Good morning. Today, I already shared the PDF gravitation. So I think all of you have this content. Okay, gravitation already shared in your groups. It's not too simple question. It's a little bit all difficult questions. Only few simple ones. Okay, all of you are ready? No response. Thank you. Srihari, you read question number 1.
The aerial velocity and the angular momentum of the planet and related by which of the following relations?
Yes. Answer? The aerial velocity and angular momentum of planet are related by which of the following relations? Come on.
Sir, I don't know.
You don't know. What is Kepler's second law? Darshya, Kepler's second law. First, you unmute. Yes. Parno. You're mute. Please unmute.
Yes, sir. The change in area within the interval of time is same.
Sorry? You please remove your hand from the mute button. You unmute always. Then.
Sir, actually, our temple, there is a temple function so that the noise of sound.
Okay. So, what is Kepler's law? Kepler's second law? This is an elliptical orbit. This axis is called major axis. This axis are called minor axis for an ellipse. Suppose initially planet of mass m here initially. After a while it reaches here. Suppose sun is here, Suppose this is sun. Initially, the position vector makes an angle R1 with the planet. Then after a while it becomes R2. And this distance, say delta R, it is the displacement during a time dt or delta t, during a time delta t. So while planet revolves around sun, the separation between planet and the sun continuously changes. Okay? R1, R2, this distance is R maximum, this distance is R minimum. So continuously r changes. Okay. So the force between them changes, the speed of the planet changes, but it can be proved, the area covered by the planet, area swept by the planet during a time interval delta t is a constant. How we can find this area? Delta A is equal to, let us imagine this is a small triangle, so half into base into height. Okay. Or delta A is equal to half into, what about base? Base you can take it as delta R into height. You can take it as R. R1 approximately equal to R2 equal to R. Actually, R1 and R2 are different. Suppose these 2 points are very close. A and B are very close. So that R1, the magnitude of R1 approximately equal to the magnitude of R2. Okay. Okay. So delta A is equal to half into, this displacement can be replaced by V is equal to delta R divided by delta T. Let us imagine this is the speed when the body passes between A and B, and assume that that speed is constant in that small time interval. So delta R can be replaced by V into delta T into R. So delta A is equal to, delta A by delta T is equal to half into V into R. Final step, delta A divided by delta T is equal to half into multiplying numerator and denominator by mass. Half VR multiplied by M divided by M. This MVR is angular momentum. So delta A by delta T is equal to L by 2M. It's a very important relationship connecting angular momentum and aerial velocity. Srihari, clear ayo Srihari?
Yes, sir.
So what is Kepler's second law? When planet revolves around sun in elliptical orbit, planet covers unequal distance in equal time interval. Unequal distance in equal time interval, but covers equal area in equal time interval. The area swept by the planet in unit time is called aerial velocity. So we can say aerial velocity is a constant. As aerial velocity is a constant, mass already a constant, it leads to the conservation of angular momentum. Conservation of angular momentum. So in short, we can say Kepler's second law confirms conservation of angular momentum. So when planet revolves around sun in elliptical orbit, planet covers unequal distance in equal time interval, but covers equal area in equal time interval. So aerial velocity, area swept by the planet in unit time is a constant. That is, aerial velocity is a constant. In the equation, it is equal to L by 2M. L is angular momentum. So conservation of aerial velocity leads to the conservation of, come on,
Angular
momentum. Derivation, the derivation, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Please tell me openly. It's clear? The mathematical part and concept is clear for you?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Only for one student.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kunju, Badra, Nidish.
Yeah.
Okay. Kalyani, Mahesh. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dhananjay. Thank you, Dhananjay.
Yes, sir.
Then second question. So the first question answer, delta A by delta T is equal to, come on.
L vector by 2mp.
Yes. Aerial velocity is a vector. Angular momentum is also a vector. Angular momentum is not an ordinary vector. It is what angular momentum, it is what kind of vector? It's a special vector. You know that name? Axial vector. Angular momentum is an axial vector, not a polar vector. The displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force are all are polar vectors associated with the translational motion. But angular momentum, angular impulse, all these are not ordinary vectors, they are axial vectors. Axial vectors are also called a dash. Come on. Pseudo vectors. Axial vectors are also called pseudo vectors. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Then question number 2. Which of the following orbits is possible orbit for a planet?
Sir, option A.
In option A, see the sun is at the center. It is not possible.
Option D.
Option B.
Option D may be correct because this is center and this may be the focus. For an ellipse, how many focus is there?
2.
2.
2.
Left and right focus is there. And this is not possible. This is also not possible. So your answer may be D. Because planet is revolving around sun in elliptical orbit with the sun at one of its foci. Okay. You couldn't find sun at the center of the ellipse, or you couldn't find sun in both focus. ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു പോയിന്റിലല്ലേ സണ്ണിന് ഇരിക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. Okay. So problem number 2, correct option. D. Then third one. Badra, ഒന്ന് വായിച്ചേ Badra, Nidish.
Yes, sir. A geostationary satellite is orbiting the Earth at a height 6r above the surface of Earth, where r is the radius of Earth. The time period of another satellite at a height 2.5r from the surface of Earth in hour is.
Come on, quick. All of you, please. Finish it. Quick. I think all of you know this equation. Time period is 2 pi into root of, come on. RQ by GM. So you can use this equation to find the ratio. First one at a height 6r, second one at a height 2.5r. Time period T is equal to 2 pi into root of RQ by GM. So t square is equal to 4 pi square into r cube by gm. T square r cube, these are variables. So t square directly proportional to r cube. So t1 by t2 all square is equal to r1 by r2 all cube. Or t1 by t2 is equal to r1 by r2 all raised to 3 by 2. This is also called Kepler law. So t1 by t2 is equal to first one revolving at a height. So r is equal to capital R plus h. So r1 is equal to r plus 6r by, in the denominator it is r plus 2.5r all raised to 3 by 2. Why we add this r with the 6r? Because in the problem it is given that 6r is the height from the surface. We need to take the distance from the center of the earth. That's why we add 6r plus r. Clear? At least give me a yes or no, please.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So t1 by t2 is equal to 7r by 3.5r, 3.5r all raised to 3 by 2. So t1 by t2 is equal to 2 raised to 3 by 2. So t1 by t2 is equal to 2 cube is 8. So 8 raised to 1 by 2. So t1 by t2 is equal to root 8. So t1 by t2 is equal to 2 root 2. Root 8 can be written like 4 into 2. 4, its direct root is therefore 4. So you take 4 root 4 outside. So it is 2 root 2. The very important thing, the height is given. So we need to take the distance from the center. So you add 6r plus r. And in case of second case, 2.5r plus r. കിട്ടിയോ എല്ലാവർക്കും ആൻസർ?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
T square directly proportional to r cube. This relationship is called Kepler third law. Kepler's third law. When planet revolves around sun in elliptical orbit, square of the time period is directly proportional to cube of the average distance between sun and planet. So you can directly use the relationship T square directly proportional to r cube while we are dealing with the problems related to time period and radius. Okay, lab.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next one, it's a tough question, problem number 4. For JEE aspirants, that question is very important. But for NEET aspirants, maybe no chance for that type of questions. Neha, please read problem number 4.
Planet revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit of eccentricity E. If T is a time
You
period
know
of the
this
planet,
word, eccentricity? Yes, it's from mathematics. Eccentricity defines the nature of the orbit, whether it is circular, elliptical, or hyperbolic, or parabolic.
yes.
Hmm.
T is the time period of the planet, then the time spent by the planet between the ends of the minor and major axis close to the sun is.
Time spent by the planet between the ends of minor and major axis close to the sun is. All of you read the question once again. A planet revolves around Sun in elliptical orbits. That's okay, in accordance with the Kepler's law of eccentricity E. Eccentricity defines the nature of the orbit. T is the time period of the planet. To complete one revolution, one rotation around the planet, around the Sun, it needs a time T. Then the time spent by the planet between the ends of minor and major axis close to the Sun is. Anyone familiar with this question?
No, sir.
Question number 4. See this figure? Suppose initially the planet here, this is Sun. S means Sun. This is planet. Planet revolves in elliptical orbit. This is the end of B is the end of major axis. A is the end of minor axis. So in this problem, you need to find the time taken by the planet to reach from B to A. Why we choose these 2 points A and B? Come on. No pareda. See, in the problem, you read once again, it's clearly mentioned time spent by the planet between
Ends of the minor and a major axis.
where it is away or close to the Sun?
Close to
Close to the Sun. That's why we choose that 2 points. Clear? Clear, Ayo?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you need to find the time taken by the planet to reach B from A or A from B. Both will work because between the ends of minor and major axis. Clear, Ayo?
Yes, sir.
So we can move to the solution part. In this problem, you need to find the time taken by the planet to reach A from B or B from A. Remember, the aerial velocity of a planet around the Sun is constant. That already we know, or we derived that relationship in problem number 1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
We need the time. The desired time is TAB. Time taken to travel from A to B. That is TAB. How we can get this time? It's a property of ellipse. ഇവിടുന്ന് ഇവിടേക്ക് വരാനുള്ള ടൈം കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ area of this shaded portion by area of the ellipse into time period. As aerial velocity is a constant, time is equal to, from this focus, area swept by the planet from A to B with respect to the Sun, that is area of ABS by area of the ellipse into time period. Okay. Area of the ellipse is pi into R1 into R2, that is pi AB. See, in the denominator it is pi AB. You need to find this shaded portion, area of the shaded portion. So denominator pi AB, okay, it is the total area of the ellipse. Total area of the ellipse is pi AB, pi into length of major axis into length of minor axis will give the entire area of the ellipse. Pi into A into B will give the total area of the ellipse. Okay. Pi into major axis into minor axis will give total area. Okay. We need to find this area too. This area. How we can find this area? We can find the area by subtracting. You find this area minus area of this triangle. Area of this triangle. You subtract that blue portion from area of ABO. So A is the semi major axis, B is the semi minor axis, and area of the ellipse is pi AB. Area of ABS, how we can find area of ABS? ABS means this one, that shaded portion. It is equal to 1/4 area of ellipse, that is this much. Area of that portion minus area of the triangle ASO. Area of the triangle ASO means this area. Okay. Okay. So 1/4 into pi AB. What is 1/4 into pi AB? Come on. Area of this entire
1/4 part.
minus half into this length. അറിയാമോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക്? What is this length? That is A into E. A into E, where E is the eccentricity of the elliptical orbit. This height is H. H is B, semi minor axis. So how we can find this area of this portion, that triangle? Half into EA into B, half into base into height. Okay. That is 1/4 pi AB minus half into base into height. We use the normal equation to find the area of triangle. Half into base into height. All divided by pi AB. Because time is equal to area of ABS by
Area of
total
ellipse.
area of the ellipse. In the denominator it is total area of the ellipse. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I shall repeat. In this problem, you need to find the time interval for the planet to reach B from A. End of minor axis to end of major axis. To find the time taken by the planet to move from A to B, what we can do? Area of this portion. Area of ABS by area of ellipse, entire ellipse into time interval, time period. First you find the area of ABS, then you find the area of the entire ellipse. On dividing, you will get the answer. Clear ayo?
Yes, sir.
Those students with a strong mathematical background, no issue with this problem. Otherwise, it will be a difficult one. So, you first study the properties of ellipse, properties of a circle, ellipse, hyperbola. Okay. So, what about the answer of problem number 4? Come on, problem number 4. T into
Minus E by 2 pi.
1 by
T
4
into 1
minus
by
E
4
by
minus E by 2 pi. Okay. Then match the following. Kepler's first law.
Orbital
of planet is elliptical.
Elliptical. So A matches with R. Second one, Kepler's second law.
law of conservation.
law of conservation of angular momentum.
Correct. Law of conservation of angular momentum. Third one,
T square
T square is
T square directly proportional to A. What is A here? A is the semi-major axis or average distance between Sun and Earth. Average distance between Sun and Earth. Average. Why we are saying average? Because the separation between planet and Sun continuously changing. That's why it is semi-major axis or average distance between Sun and planet. Last one, Newton's law of gravitation. Inverse square law. So A matches with the, come on, A matches with the
R.
B matches with
Yes.
S. C matches with the,
P.
come on,
P.
P. And the last one, D matches with the
Q.
Q. We can expect similar type questions for NEET examination too. In the last year, the NEET examination was very difficult one. So many statement-based questions. Then this type match the column. Then question number 6. Prince Emil, please read problem number 6.
3 masses each of mass m are placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle ABC of side L as shown in figure. The force acting on a mass 2m placed in at the centroid O of the triangle is.
And also you give me the answer. See, this is M, this is M, this is M, all are equal masses. So this one attract to M, this one also attract to M, this one also attract to M. So what will be the net force acting on a particle at the centroid of the triangle? That's the question. Come on. Areda.
Sir, is it 0?
Yes, 0. Why it is 0? See, as the 3 masses, that is masses at the corners, are equally spaced from the mass to M, from the center. This force is F. This is also F. All the three forces are equal. Okay. This angle is 120 degree, right?
Yes.
So when you find the resultant of any two forces acting at 120 degree, that is also F. ഏതെങ്കിലും രണ്ട് ഫോഴ്സുകളുടെ റിസൾട്ടന്റ് എടുത്താൽ that is also F. F and F acting at 120 degree, the resultant is also F. Okay. Okay. When you find the resultant of any of the two forces, their resultant is F. That F is opposite to the other one, F. So F and F will cancel. So the net force acting on a body at the centroid of the triangle must be 0. Okay. F. Their resultant is also F. Why it is F again? Come on. Two equal forces acting at a 120 degree. Their resultant is also that equal force. Okay. Okay, no. Now you draw the third one. It is upward. Say upward. This one and this one will cancel out. That's why the resultant force at the centroid of the triangle is 0. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So whatever may be the mass at the center amount, whether it is 2m or 3m or 4m or any mass, if the masses at the corners are equal, always the force acting on a particle at the centroid of the triangle must be 0. Net force will be 0. Okay, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But when we put unequal masses at the corners, the answer will be different. Then next one, you know binary star system, binary stars. നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരും ഒന്ന് വീഡിയോ ഒക്കെ ഓണാക്കി ഒന്ന് ലൈവായി വേടാ. എത്ര പിള്ളേരാണ് അനങ്ങ് മിണ്ടാതിരിക്കണത്. പ്രണവ് ഗണേഷ്,
Yes, sir.
കൺഗ്രാജുലേഷൻ. എന്തിനാ കൺഗ്രാജുലേഷൻ? എന്തിനാ പ്രണവേ കൺഗ്രാജുലേഷൻ?
Maybe for responding.
No. You are from our integrated batch, Nochima batch.
Yes, sir.
In the last month, you got a great achievement. What is that achievement?
Qualified IOQM.
Qualified IOQM. Qualified IOQM. Indian Olympiad qualifier in mathematics. So എല്ലാവരും പ്രണവിന് നല്ലൊരു ക്ലാപ്പ് കൊടുത്തേ. പ്രണവ് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ബാച്ചിൽ നിന്നും പ്രണവ് IOQM ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്തു. ഇന്ത്യൻ ഒളിമ്പിയാഡ് ക്വാളിഫയർ ഇൻ മാത്തമാറ്റിക്സ്. It's a step towards RMO, Regional Mathematics Olympiad. Then INMO, Indian National Maths Olympiad. ആകെ ഒരാളാണ് ക്ലാപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഒന്ന് കൺഗ്രാജുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യടാ. അതൊക്കെ പ്രണവേ ഒന്ന് വീഡിയോ ഓണാക്കി വന്നടാ. എന്നെ കാണാനില്ലല്ലോ.
Sir, I was having a bit of net issue. Now I will.
ഓക്കെ, നോ പ്രോബ്ലം. പ്രണവ് വന്നു. അപ്പൊ പ്രണവിനെ എല്ലാവരും കൺഗ്രാജുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു. ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ നമ്മുടെയൊക്കെ ബ്ലെസ്സിങ് ഉണ്ട് പ്രണവിന്റെ കൂടെ. ഓക്കെ,
Thank you, sir.
അതും നല്ല ഗ്രേറ്റ് മാർക്കായിരുന്നു അല്ലേ? 22 ആ?
23.
23. ഗ്രേറ്റ്. ഇതാണ് നമ്മുടെ പ്രണവ്. നമ്മുടെ ഇന്റഗ്രേറ്റഡ് സ്കൂളിങ്ങിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടിയാണ്. ആലുവ ബ്രാഞ്ചിലുള്ള കുട്ടിയാണ് കേട്ടോ. then പ്രണവ് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ട് എത്ര വർഷമായി?
ഡ്രീം ഗമിന്റെ ടൈമിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
അതിന് എത്ര വർഷമായി? ഏത്
എന്താണ് പറയാ, ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഒരു ക്ലാസ് മിസ്സായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇപ്പം സെഫയർ.
അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഒരു 4 years ആയിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ഉണ്ട് അല്ലേ?
എന്റെ എന്താണ് പറയാ 10th ആ ഒരു ഇയറിലാണ് ചെറുതായി ഒന്ന് പോയത്.
ആ, ബാക്കി 8th 9th നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
യെസ് സർ.
സോ ഞാനൊരു മോട്ടിവേഷൻ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, you start your preparation as early as possible. That is the solution to get best ranks in competitive exams, right? Okay. ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രണവ് നമ്മുടെ കൂടെ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു 6ാം ക്ലാസ് 7ാം ക്ലാസ്സിലോ കൂടെ വന്ന് ചേർന്നതാണ്. സ്റ്റിൽ കണ്ടിന്യൂയിങ്. അപ്പം താങ്ക് യു പ്രണവ്, താങ്ക് യു പാരൻസ്. സോ യു റീഡ് ദ പ്രോബ്ലം. നെക്സ്റ്റ് പ്രോബ്ലം.
Two stars of masses M1 and M2 are parts of a binary star system. The radii of their orbits are R1 and R2 respectively, measured from the center of mass of the system. The magnitude of gravitational force M1
exerts on M2. Two stars of masses M1 and M2 are parts of binary star system. Radii of their orbits are R1 and R2 respectively, measured from the center of mass of the system. The magnitude of gravitational force M1 exerted on M2 is. Problem number 7. This is binary star system. This one M1. This is M2. You draw the line joining the two masses M1 and M2. Then this is their center of mass. Center of mass of the system. From center of mass, M1 is at a distance R1 and M2 is at a distance R2. Then M1 is revolving like this. M1 is revolving like this. M2 is revolving like this. But it should be noted, M1 and M2 always lie along a line. If it reaches here, the other one reaches here. Always the center of mass remain at the same point. The position of M1 and M2 may be changed while revolving, but the position of center of mass of the entire system, but that is M1 and M2, must be at the same point, this point. Clear ayo?
Yes sir.
That's about binary star system. We want to find the force between them. It's a very simple question. You want to find the force between M1 and M2. What is the separation between M1 and M2 here? R1 plus R2. So your answer is dM1 M2 divided by R1 plus R2 the whole square. So when you get a question like this, you must be worried about, oh, binary star system. I don't know what is binary star. Binary star means two stars. They are revolving about a common center of mass. Their orbital radius are different. Center of mass lie at the same point. Okay, no? Is this one clear? R1 plus R2 is equal R?
Yes, sir.
You need to find the force between M1 and M2. F is equal to G M1 M2 divided by separation between them is R1 plus R2. That is R1 plus R2 the whole square. Okay? Okay, Alain. So that's about problem number problem number 7. Then next one. Sarah Ivana. Next one, problem number 8. Sarah Ivana. No chance. Dhananjay.
Sir,
Ah,
two identical spheres, each of the mass m and a radius r, are separated by a distance 10r. The gravitational force on the mass m placed at the midpoint of the line joining the centers of the sphere is.
two identical spheres, each of mass m, both are equal masses, having equal mass m, and radius r are separated by a distance 10r. The gravitational force on a mass m placed at the midpoint of the line joining the centers of the spheres. Midpoint. എന്താ ധനഞ്ജയ ആൻസർ?
Sir, 0 ആണോ?
0. No doubt 0. Because identical masses are there at the ends. M. Whatever may be the separation between them, when you put a body of mass m at the center, it will be equally attracted from both sides. Two sides attract ചെയ്യപ്പെടും. So that forces will cancel out. So the answer is 0.
Okay, sir.
But when you place the object not exactly at the center, then one force will dominate and it will move towards that side. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Here the answer 0 because identical spheres, each of mass m, radius r, placed at the ends of this line joining the two masses. Okay. Then it's a very simple question. 9. I think you are familiar with that equation. A body weighs 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. What will be the gravitational force on it due to earth at a height equal to half the radius of the earth? Deepak Pakia Singh.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, Deepak, you are from which branch?
Sir, I am from NVK Sattur software cluster.
NVK, so okay. Tamil Nadu branch. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, 9th question.
9th question.
A body weighs 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. What is the gravitational force on it due to the earth at a height equal to half of the radius of the earth?
You know that equation to find the gravitational force at a height?
Sir, no, sir.
G is equal to Gm by R square on surface. G is equal to Gm by R plus H all square at a height. G is equal to Gm by R cube into small r at a depth. I think all these equations are discussed in classrooms. ഉണ്ടോ പഠിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
Sir, they did not start this chapter in class.
Oh, okay. Not started. Okay. A body weighs 72 Newton on the surface of the earth. So This is earth, this is earth. G is equal to Gm by R square. It is given, it is equal to 72. 72 on the surface. You want to find the gravity at a height. So GH is equal to Gm divided by R plus H the whole square. So that is equal to Gm divided by R plus H. R is R itself. H is equal to height equal to half the radius of the earth. So you put R by 2 here. R by 2 whole square. So that is equal to Gm divided by R plus R by 2 is 3 by 2 R whole square. That is equal to 4 by 9. 2 square 4, 3 square 9, 4 by 9 Gm by R square. This is 72. So G height is equal to 4 by 9 into 72. 9, 72 cancel. 8. 4 into 8, 32 is the answer. It's a very simple question. First you write the equation to find the gravity on the surface of the earth. It is equal to Gm by R square. Then you write the equation to find the gravity at a height. The only thing different is, instead of R square, you put R plus H the whole square. H is directly given in this problem. H is equal to R by 2 from the earth's surface. The body is taken to a height R by 2 from the earth's surface. So R plus R by 2, 3 by 2 are the whole square. That is equal to 4 by 9 Gm by R square. Maybe someone knows this equation. GH is equal to G into 1 minus 2H by R. Don't use this equation here because this equation is applicable only when you are taking the body to a very small height. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I will share you one question paper. It's a DPP. Daily practice problems. I will show you. So if you want to master in MCQ, you must do more number of problems. If anyone need daily practice problem, I am repeatedly saying I am ready to share question, but no one is asking about the same. DPP gravitation, law of gravitation. These are all simple questions from first segment. Its answer key is given. Then solution also given. Then force due to multiple particles. Second DPP. Again an answer and solution is given. Then DPP number 3, DPP number 4, DPP number 5. Then when you come to the end of this chapter, you can see difficult questions are there. In the beginning, all these are simple questions. Acceleration due to gravity is there. Then variation of acceleration due to gravity. Then rotation of shape of Earth. Gravitational potential. Relation between potential intensity. Gravitational potential energy. Escape velocity. Escape velocity and binding energy. Kepler's laws. Kepler law again. Kepler law third law. Satellite motion. Energy analysis. Polar and geostationary satellites. So this chapter gravitation is divided into 20 parts, 20 DPPs, daily practice problems. So when you go through these kind of questions, you can get great connection with this chapter so that you can score good marks in your board exam too. So if anyone need this DPP, I am ready to share. I already shared my number with you. My number 98470-41460. 98470-41460. I can share Not only this question, if you need the questions of Akash, Alan, Sri Chaitanya, Narayana, bright, brilliant. Brilliant means not Pala brilliant, it's brilliant from Kota. So I can share the question paper, model papers, then daily practice questions, anything you need. So for the coming classes, I have a request. Please join on time, that is before 5:30. And if possible, you make a setup of laptop or desktop, not a mobile. Okay. And switch on your videos from the beginning till end. It will definitely boost your confidence. So thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.